Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6th round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and my co-host, as always, Eddie Mercado. We're coming to y'all from the end
Oh
of...
wait, aren't I supposed to do a thing like, hey?
Yeah, that's right. You said you didn't want to do it though, so I just...
And I didn't. I
Yeah.
just wanted to remind you that I wasn't gonna.
Oh, thanks. That can be your thing now, is to remind me that you're not doing a thing.
That could be my thing.
That's right. It's not nothing, it's a denial of thingness.
It is what the co-main event was tonight.
Yeah. So we're coming to y'all straight from UFC 302 at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, headlined by a lightweight title fight, Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier, a fantastic fight to end a kind of dud night of fights, honestly.
Not a kind of dud, a fucking full-on dud.
Yeah.
Dud.
Yeah. Well, I immediately put it on like, I sent out a very, I thought, fair-minded tweet where I was like, hey, that was a great main event to end a night that badly needed a great main event. And somebody's like, badly? There were other good fights. I'm like, what the? Don't lie to me. It was not good. It was a bad night of fights.
Yeah, as a whole, as a collective.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when you have that many decisions, we had 3 finishes, all submissions, and the final one is Dustin the Diamond Poirier tapping and then passing out. Like, nah, that don't make me feel good, right? And
I mean, it was
like
cool,
that half-ass, half-cocked retirement speech.
Yeah.
He didn't leave the gloves in the center. Those hideous gloves. Those are ugly as fuck, and they don't do shit for eye pokes.
Are you on the Sean Strickland is right train? And
Slow down, Zane. I don't know if I'm ever. What did he say?
He hates the gloves. He didn't even say why. He just hates the gloves. He just said, I don't know who designed these. They're awful. What the hell? Trying to fix problems that don't even exist. He just hates the gloves. And he was like, oh, you think the other gloves have too many seams and cut you? Well, don't get punched in the face. Oh, you think the other gloves let you open your hand and eye poke people too much? Don't open your hands. And like, that was his whole thing. I don't know. It was weird.
Honestly, he seems like a bare knuckle kind of guy. He really does.
That was part of his rant too, was I should just go fight bare knuckle, but who's going to pay me for that? Nobody.
Right. Well, I don't know. BKFC's been making some moves.
He specifically called out BKFC for having numbers that look good and not following up with actual cash.
But, I don't know. I think Perry's doing pretty good for himself over there.
Sure. I don't know anything about it. I'm just telling you what the screed was. It included BKFC sucks was part of the screed. Anyway. Yeah, it was a weird night. And it's one of those things too where they weren't all bad fights. Randy Brown, Oleksiejczuk Zaleski, not a terrible fight.
Sure.
I'm sure there's another one in there that was all right. Jake Matthews, Phil Rowe, not terrible. Hafez Gall was great. But the problem is that when it's all decisions like that, and when there's very little meaning to this, it kind of hit going in. Like the main event and the co-main, those had stakes. Nothing else on this card. There was no other fight on this card where it seemed at all likely that whoever won it would ever be in future title contention.
With the exception of Cesar Almeida. If he were to win,
gimmick.
They're trying. They could have done the same thing they did with Alex Pereira.
Yeah, but Alex Pereira, started like 5 years earlier than Almeida. Has a much better kickboxing style for MMA than Almeida. Is like he'd been obviously training better than Cesar Almeida. Like that Almeida thing is really just a gimmick.
Not at middleweight.
Okay, but even still, it's a bit. It would have been very much like, hey, remember the last time we did this? Let's do it again with like somebody who's not as good. You'd be like,
He already has a win over Pereira, though.
Yeah, and like 3 losses.
Well, hey, if you ask Izzy, that's called winning, bro. Winning the
true.
series.
It's true. But the thing I was going to say is when you have this many meaningless decisions on a card, all the action starts to bleed together. You don't remember any one fight as like, oh, that was, a real highlight.
It didn't help that the 5 versus 5 was running at the same time.
No.
Which was a better card. I'll say.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it all throughout, and I mean, certainly when it was running, which is like right in the core, like Grant Dawson, Joe Selecki point, and you're watching. I'm split screening here with Wilder versus Zhang. It's just like, okay, there's one of these fights I'd really like to be watching right now, and the other one that I have to watch.
Yeah, I completely muted the UFC when the Wilder fight came on.
Yeah.
Which was goofy as fuck. Holy shit. Wilder getting knocked out like that. It's like he got hit so hard, he like had something to say to the referee.
Yeah.
Like that one Zab Judah knockout. You know what I'm talking about? That real bad one.
He was playing with matches out there.
Yeah, don't play with matches.
Yes.
Oh shit.
But yeah, no, I mean the Deontay Wilder Zhang fight, that was a lot of fun. Although Wilder looking very much like, I mean, he's always been a dude who had terrible fights and then would like come out with one big moment to knock somebody out, and you'd be like, wow, he's so dangerous. It's amazing how he can have a terrible fight all the rest of the time and then come back and knock somebody out. And now he's just not coming back anymore, and he's starting to get knocked out.
He's super gun shy. He's super gun shy. He's lost his aggression.
Yeah.
He's not willing to go after anyone. He's like so worried about getting hit. And like, holy fuck, he was outweighed by like 60 plus.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I mean, I get that above a certain point, the weight starts to become a little negligible. And
but not 215.
But not,
yeah.
Not 215 to like 2. We're not when you're giving up 65 pounds. Yeah. Honestly, at any point, that's too much. Those are separate weight classes. So, at some point, one guy's 285 and the other's 220. It's just like, no, this is not a real.
It's a freak show fight, and I love freak show fights. But
yeah.
That was for a title.
Yeah, and also, in that boxing way, they spent a bunch of time. Oh, we got a question. Yes, I am. Aren't you the 185 and up should be a one weight class guy? Yes, I am. But that's just because MMA is tragic. And I can be inconsistent. I contain multitudes. I don't have to stick by every
comment you make.
Every comment I make. But I am that guy that like 185 and up could be technically one weight class. But I also think that most UFC middleweights cut so much weight that they could technically weigh like 230 pounds.
Yeah, Jared Cannonier.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Pereira winning the middleweight title. Like, that dude could absolutely just be a competitive heavyweight. No question. Anyway. So the 5 versus 5, it was fun. It was big. It was showy. Eddie Hearn absolutely got the floor mopped with him. That's got to sting. Like,
Matchroom
took a shit kicking all night.
The Queensberries guys really delivered.
Yep.
And I picked Dubois to win too, by the way. I couldn't believe he was the underdog. I could not believe that. People say he beat Usyk.
Yeah.
And like that low blow wasn't a low blow. Like he got the phantom low blow that was really just a nasty body shot.
Well, you picked right. So yes, back to this UFC card. At the very least, we need to talk about the main event.
Fuck yeah.
Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier. That was an epic fight. Dustin Poirier fell into all of the exact traps that were the reason that I could not pick him going into that fight. But he also fought through all of them as well. And I could easily see a reasonable world. I think I had Makhachev up 3-1 going into the fifth, but I could see a reasonable, pretty easy world where it was 2-2.
I had it 2-2, but barely. Yeah. The second round was the swing round for me.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way, but I still gave it to Poirier, and maybe that was a little homer pick, even though I picked Islam to win. Like, my heart wanted Poirier to win because, right, who doesn't?
Yeah. And
but honestly, what won Makhachev the fight was his just a lifetime of wrestling, like so ingrained that dead ass tired, hurt Rock bleeding from the face. He can still do what he has to do to get that takedown. He pulled out that fucking ankle pick whirly bird and fucking Superman dove onto the front, like the front headlock position. And like he forced it. He jumped the gilly, which I thought was brilliant. And then switched it to the Darce, which is always there. And man, what a magnificent sequence from Makhachev. Like, take it out of the judge's hands. Fucking that's what makes champions. Right?
Oh yeah, no.
That was like his Gus Jones fight.
It was a magnificent end to the fight. A little ironic, I'm gonna say right now, for Dustin Poirier to have spent like 2 months training takedown defense hard with Mateusz Gamrot, and then have the fight, the losing moment of the fight be a low single, which is like Gamrot's whole thing, the ultra low ankle pick single. But I also think, Poirier didn't, credit to Poirier, he didn't want to say it, but it sounded like he got his knee pretty jacked up at some point in the middle of the fight. And that last low ankle pick when Makhachev raised and twisted his leg around. I mean, Poirier said it after. He's like, that was it. I was done. Like, he just, something got wrenched around, and he was not about to come back from that.
No, I'm proud of Poirier. He fought way harder and better. Well, he always fights hard, but like you were saying, in those bad positions that we fully expected, he fucking fought his ass off.
Yeah. No, I thought he did magnificent. I thought, somebody who's in our live chat that I'm running over on my Substack, which the link is now in the description here. So
click it.
Those of you who are not already subscribing to the show, subscribe, help us out, keep us running. But somebody mentioned in the Substack, like, this might be one of the best performances of Dustin Poirier's career, win or lose. And honestly, like, this was a terrible matchup for him. Just an abysmal matchup. And he started the fight immediately getting taken down and getting his back taken. And
oh, dude, that fucking initial takedown. Oh, that was gorgeous. That was gorgeous. Like,
beautiful
the high crotch
takedown.
Lift up to sweep. Oof.
And then straight to the Kimura sweep to get the back. And like, Makhachev is the kind of guy who, once he starts that chain, the fight is only usually going to get worse for you. You're only going to get more tired. You're going to fight the positions. He's going to float and dominate. So for Poirier to come back and win potentially the second round, and then to get taken down later in the third round, and to fight his way out of those spots, and to keep getting back to his feet, and to keep finding ways to make Makhachev have to fight him standing, and to not be able to drain Poirier and make Poirier extremely tired. Like, it was remarkable. That was brilliant work from Poirier. And, like, man might have been KO'd by Justin Gaethje just a year ago, but he's he looked great out there in the title fight. It was a fantastic title fight.
Winnable fight for him, and he was
Yep.
super close, but you really just have to credit Makhachev with
Yeah.
the heart of a champ and digging deep and making the shit happen.
He had Khabib out there in his corner again.
Dude, he was going off.
Mm-hmm.
He was letting Islam have it, dude. He was not fucking around. You see like the camera pan, like as they're fighting, and he's like fucking screaming his head off, dude. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I wish he hadn't stepped away from coaching so fast, because, like, you know, I think he's got a great mind for it and a great attitude for it. And, like, it's clear he knew exactly how to keep Makhachev focused and motivated and in that fight, you know.
Yeah, no, this was an awesome fight. I love that it was back and forth. I love the effort Poirier put forth. That elbow fucking dude, man, what brilliant. A great fight.
Yeah.
I just don't think we're gonna see him again. I think he got a definitive ending tonight. If it went to the judges, I think we would have saw him again.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
But because he tapped and went out, that's like, I feel like that's a good.
I mean, I'm just gonna say I hope he doesn't fight again, and not because I don't want to watch him fight or I don't think he can. I just said, like, you know, he came back from losing a big loss last year to come back and compete for the belt again and really compete for it. I didn't feel like I was watching him out there and being like, oh, this is somebody thinking about walking away. This is somebody who's already retired.
He looked great.
He looked great. He can go out and compete again still, but I always love to.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh, dude. Oh. Ooh. Here we go, Zane. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So in his post-fight speech, Islam's like, I have to move up. I have to go get the belt. Cool. Arman Saryukian versus Dustin Poirier.
Oh, no.
Come on. Let Islam vacate. Let him win the welterweight title. Be double champ for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Then have him vacate that, and then bring in Poirier off the couch like they did Michael Bisping.
No, they're not gonna do it. They've got their whole Middle Eastern audience capture that they have going, that where the more glamour they can attach to Islam Makhachev, the bigger cards they can put on with his name on them.
Yeah, but he's not going to hold up two divisions.
They would let him for at least a year. Yeah. Especially if they could get Khabib back, even just in making appearances with him. But no, I mean, I'm just gonna say I always like to see a fighter walk away. You know, I don't care when they do it. I don't care why they do it. If Dustin Poirier is at all feeling like, hey, I don't need to do this anymore, you don't. Great, like, go have another life, do other things, sell hot sauce, run charities, train fighters, whatever else.
Race sailboats.
Race sailboats. There you go. That's right, Eddie. I'm proud of you for retiring. But, yeah, I just, you know.
Hey, Zane, I walked away on a win, just so you know.
That's right. That's right. Few have that luxury, but you made it happen. But, yeah, I hope Poirier, I hope he sticks to it and just says, I got my money. I've got my legacy. I'm not, I'm walking away while I can still walk away, because you never know. Next fight around the corner, we've seen a lot of.
It's the Daniel Cormier retirement, but without being the champion.
Yeah,
DC was like, if I'm not fighting or competing for belts, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So I respect it.
As Poirier said too, he's fought. He has 40 MMA fights. But he said he's fought 50 times in his career. He's probably took some smokers and some amateur bouts or some kickboxing bouts or something else. It's just not represented on his record.
He could have been rounding up also.
He could have just been rounding up, but that's still whatever it is. It's a hell of a lot, and you just don't need to do it anymore. You don't have to.
I really hope they pull his ass off the couch like Bisping. He looked way too fucking good tonight to not give him another crack at the belt. And that's what the fans want. They want to see Poirier with the belt.
It's true. It's true. They Dana White, I'm sure, will try to lean on him and lure him and keep him from walking away. But I personally just hope, let the man have the quiet family life.
Yeah, exactly. But also give him that call, get him off the couch, and let him try one more time without having to
I will say this. I would actually be surprised if Dustin Poirier never fights again. Even if the next time he fights, it's like an exhibition boxing bout or
karate combat.
He gets lured by some BKFC or karate combat or whatever. Some kind of, just late career. Oh, I still have that fire. I want to try something thing. I could see that happening.
I don't know. I think the only fire he's got coming up is that hot sauce.
Yeah. That's how it feels. All right, let's get to the Sean Strickland Paulo Costa fight, where ultimate wrecking ball killing machine Sean Strickland narrowly avoided murdering somebody in the cage because they didn't stand and trade with him right in the middle of the octagon, despite the fact that every time Paulo Costa went forward, Sean Strickland went backward. And
what are you talking about? That thing was razor thin. It was a split decision. I'm being facetious, of course.
Yeah,
that was one-way traffic from start to finish.
Yeah.
Sean Strickland dropped him with a fucking head kick. What the fuck?
I have no hate for Sean Strickland in this fight.
No way. He did.
He went out there. He stayed on the front foot. He fought exactly the way he always fights. It was entirely predictable Sean Strickland performance. But
I thought it was fantastic.
Paulo Costa had no interest. He basically just, I don't know what he came out there expecting to do. He had the low kicks early, and somebody suggested he was just trying to do the Alex Pereira thing and walk Strickland into the big counter left hook. But Alex Pereira is a giant.
That wasn't the vibe I was getting.
No.
I was getting he legit tried to fucking be a matador and be elusive and fight this on the bike style. And I thought he did well enough. I thought he did well enough to make it competitive enough to where, it was
a dead fight. It was interesting.
It was the same thing every round.
Yes, it was the same thing. It was interesting in that it was the same thing in every round, and neither guy was doing anything incredibly commanding or competitive. They were both leaning on very minor strikes to control all of the action, so that it was just a real low simmer that was all at one level. But it was one of those moments where it's just Sean Strickland set a tempo, Paulo Costa couldn't meet it, and that was the whole thing. The whole fight was just Paulo Costa failing to meet the tempo that Sean Strickland had set.
Or not even, he didn't fail to meet, he met the tempo. And that's what you can't do. You can't let Sean Strickland command the cage.
That's what I mean.
That's all Sean did tonight was command the cage. Paulo Costa, you brick house motherfucker. Go forward and just bomb on this guy. That's what you got to do. Get him to start reaching and doing those. You got to make him expose himself. And you can't do that by trying to play the back foot.
No,
you cannot do that. You have to go at him.
You have to pressure Strickland. He doesn't counter well. He doesn't respond to pressure well. He always misses the third strike when he's blocking. So you throw in combination. You go forward. Dricus du Plessis just did this just a couple months ago, and it worked. And Dricus du Plessis is not half as clean a striker as Paulo Costa is, but Costa didn't have it anywhere in him to come forward at all.
Rogan was saying he was gassed in the second, and I'm like, no, he's not.
No.
Costa wasn't gassed at all throughout the whole fight. He just wasn't as fresh as Strickland, but he wasn't sucking wind.
No, he just wasn't. He just didn't have any idea of how to pressure and how to stay on the front foot. He could fire one or two big shots and get Strickland backing up, and then he'd stop, and Strickland would start pressuring again.
Yeah,
and
you have to keep the aggression up.
yeah, you really do.
And Costa's like that dude. He should be able to do that on paper. Like eye test. You're a bull. Go after this guy.
You remember
fucking passive. I'm gonna stick and move and be a sniper on the outside and hit these leg kicks. Like, nah. Sean was checking the fuck out of those leg kicks.
He did. Yeah. That he had a couple of really nasty checks in there. But you remember we had that meeting a couple of weeks ago, and what's his name? Asked us like, "Oh, who's gonna win? Strickland, Costa?" And I was like, "Strickland.
Yeah,
Costa is not that guy. He's not gonna stay. He's not gonna stay on that pressure. He's not gonna respond to that jab. It's just, it's what it is. You know.
Yeah, this fight was as advertised.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, the prop bet for this one going the distance was plus 100.
Wow.
I know. That's wild.
Did you put something on?
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you kidding me? That's free money.
Well, we got a quote here, apparently. Dana White saying, anyone who says Islam is the pound for pound number one when John Jones is still fighting shouldn't be doing the fucking rankings.
Well, I guess you can say Islam is, since he also fought 145ers.
I mean, not only, it's just that it's the most pointless asinine debate out there. Like, sure, John Jones has actually gone to different divisions and fought people in different divisions, so that gives him some pound for pound cred in that sense.
Yeah, you win titles in different divisions.
But at the same time, it's also like they're joke divisions. It's light heavyweight and heavyweight. Like it's fun, but Islam Makhachev here, he's fighting in a real division with like.
Well, first of all, when John Jones won his title, it was a real division.
Not a heavyweight.
At 205, it was a real division.
It was.
He ran through some fucking killers.
He did, but then he just went out and took Cyril Gane down and made Cyril Gane grapple for the first time in his life. And
I see no problem with that.
Look,
that's goat behavior.
I'm just saying. It's
pound for pound champ behavior.
The pound for pound debate is stupid, and Dana White getting defensive about it is also stupid.
Well, he's trying to sell the fuck out of that Stipe fight.
Yeah, that's right.
And like the common man is just dousing it right now.
Nobody cares. It's true.
It's Tom Aspinall is like clearly the number one guy.
Yeah, it's just that if they don't give Stipe John Jones, then Stipe is just going to retire, and they want that one last payday out of Stipe. They're not gonna let him ride off into the sunset until they can get that one last fight.
Yeah, it'll be a double retirement for sure.
Probably. All right. That brings us. So let's see. Well, Strickland, what do you think? Do they do? They have to give him the winner of Izzy versus Duplessis? Seems likely. Like.
It's hard to say because, like, what if that's like an absolute banger that's a split decision or
true.
Calls for like an instant rematch.
Even then though, I think Strickland probably just sit on the sidelines. I don't think he'll fight again until he gets a title fight.
I do. He wants that money.
He's gonna complain about it the whole time if he does though. Then
whatever.
Yeah,
that's like that's when his complaining and shit talking is more entertaining than his fighting style. I don't know if you realize this.
That's not hard. I mean, Damian Maia's shit talking is more entertaining than Sean Strickland's fighting style.
I appreciate Sean Strickland's fighting style. Don't get me
wrong.
Sure,
no, I do.
Just the entertainment value is low.
Yeah. Because if he doesn't take that, if he does not get a fight, if Duplessis Adesanya goes to a second fight, then he's going to have to probably fight the winner of Whitaker Khamzat.
Which I'm sure he'd be fine with.
I'm sure he'd complain about it all the time.
Nah,
He
I
wants a
think
title fight.
he like didn't he try to fight Hamzat in the gym?
He tries to fight everybody in the gym. Who knows? Anyway, we'll yeah. Wait, maybe we'll see. I'm sure. I feel like Strickland is going to wait until he gets another title fight. But if he doesn't, then yeah, the winner of that Whitaker Hamzat fight.
The split decision is ludicrous. It shouldn't have been a split decision. However, it's not the type of performance where I'm like, yeah, get this man in a title shot.
No. I just don't think he'll fight. I think he's going to pull a Covington and just sit and wait.
I don't think he's got that kind of pull.
I didn't think Covington had that kind of pull, frankly.
Yeah, that was weird. That could have been like some other strings, though. Like some Trumpel-Stiltskin kind of.
Yeah, but Trump seems to think that Covington is kind of a weird joke fighter. Like,
yeah, but his sons are real tight with him.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
There we go.
All right. That brings us to a middleweight bout. Kevin Holland, Michael Oleksiejczuk, and
thank God
I'm just going to say...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm
just saying thank God for this fight.
Yeah. This was a good one. This was fun, fast. I will say, great job, ref. I do not need to see somebody's arm get ruined to the point that they can't use it anymore in a fight. And I realize Oleksiejczuk didn't want to tap, but at some point, the refs just got to step in, call it.
Honestly, I think it was a bad job, ref. You should have stopped it sooner.
Well, okay, could have stopped it sooner, sure.
That's a late stoppage, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it is hard when a guy doesn't tap from a submission that is going to cause pain, but not going to put him to sleep. You know?
Yeah, but when you see that joint hyperextend, stop that shit. That's a tech sub. Fight over.
Yeah.
This is a sport.
No, it's true. I don't want to see people die out there. I don't want to see people get wrecked out there. And it's interesting because somebody brought up when we were watching this live, somebody brought up the classic like Rich Franklin, Chuck Liddell thing, where Franklin got his arm broken and then came back to knock Chuck out.
That's different, though.
It is because Franklin got his arm broken blocking a kick, blocking a kick. At which point, he is still free and in space, and the arm is not in any immediate obvious danger of re-injury or further injury.
Mm-hmm.
Where when the arm is locked in a submission and it snaps, and it's still in submission, the person holding onto it, they can just start wrecking it. Like that arm can get so damaged that it could be possible that you could never use it right again.
It might have been amputated.
Yeah.
Like
it got bad enough. So it's definitely a position where when somebody's limb snaps in a submission hold, you have to stop the fight. That has to be it.
Yeah, it's a tech sub.
Yep.
So I think it was a bad stoppage because it was late.
Sure, fair. I think it was a good stoppage because it happened at all, and there's no guarantee of that in MMA.
Yeah, that's true. But if the ref does his job, getting your arm snapped is not intelligently defending yourself.
No,
shit's gotta be stopped.
So yeah, Kevin Holland back at middleweight. Sounds like he's just going to fight wherever he can. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he should stay at middleweight or go back to welterweight and chase that? Or
oh man, he's such an enigma. He called himself a gatekeeper tonight.
He did.
I love the humility in that. I don't know, man. He got dropped here at 185. I think he's better suited for 170. Like he was on the verge of losing this fight before he caught that armbar.
Yeah, although Oleksiejczuk is the kind of hot starter who tends to fall apart if he doesn't get the immediate finish. So if he had missed, even if he'd stayed on top of Holland, if he didn't knock him out, he might have self-destructed and imploded.
Yeah,
but
he's really good at getting submitted.
He is. Yeah, let's see if he stayed at 185.
Michel Pereira, that would be the fight.
Yeah,
the fight.
Or you could do Holland versus Hobocop. I'd watch something like that.
I like both of those ideas.
Otherwise, if he's going to drop down to welterweight, he is still ranked. Now, they booked that awful Vicente Luque Nick Diaz fight.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Why they didn't do Nick Diaz versus Ferguson, if they're going to do that when they shouldn't. Bad move. But maybe it'll be, we might get the similar thing. I'm hoping, MMA gods, listen. Maybe someone will botch their weight cut so bad that we got to shift things around, and then Diaz and Ferguson end up fighting like when Nate and Ferguson fought.
Yeah.
When Kevin Holland ended up fighting Hamzat.
Yeah. Get that last minute swap, please.
Please. And let that be a double retirement fight also.
Swap it. And then put Nick Diaz in with Tony Ferguson, and at the last minute reveal it was all a lie and cancel the fight, and then just cut them both and let them go do whatever they want out somewhere else. I don't need to see it in the middle of my cards, fight cards I otherwise might want to watch. I don't want that anywhere near my eyes. Otherwise, if he goes back down to welterweight, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Is there an obvious
Pereira
cool welterweight fight for Holland?
Welterweight?
Yeah.
The Buckley rematch.
Yeah, true. Although Buckley is now further up the rankings than him, and
he knocked him out though. That doesn't matter.
It's true. I just don't think.
Did they fight at 185?
Yeah, they fought at 185.
Yeah, that's a fire matchup. And like Buckley's talking so much shit nowadays. Let him get that reminder. Like put him in there with someone who's going to talk that shit right back to him. And already has a knockout win over him.
Yeah.
I'm
sure. Otherwise, you just kind of stick him in there with like, I don't know, you could do something like Chaos Williams or something and just, somebody else who's looking to break into the top 15, whoever it might be. You could do him against Randy Brown. Anyway.
Well, he called out Jeff Neal.
Yeah, I'd watch that. All right. After that, after Holland, Oleksiejczuk, we had Nico Price, Alex Morono. I gotta assume Morono was sick or something. Because, I know he's not the most athletic man in the world. He might be one of the least athletic men in the UFC, as a matter of fact. But it's rare that you ever see Morono just look like he is absolutely gassed 5 minutes into a fight. And while they were like, oh, he kind of took the final shot, it was like a month's notice. It's enough to have cardio.
Maybe,
probably.
Depends what he did after that Court McGee fight. Is he someone who just I'm just going to coaching? I'm not when I'm not in camp, I'm not in camp kind of things.
I don't think so, but I've never noticed that from him before, but it could be. I don't know. Either way, this seemed like a very winnable fight for him, and he got so tired so fast that it was really nothing. I mean, all Price had to do was be there to win the last 2 rounds, really.
Yeah, I mean, Price he just packs that wallop. He packs the wallop.
Yeah.
I think that helped gas out Morono. I think he got tired trying to I forget who we were talking about when we were saying how sometimes people will overcompensate for their lack of athleticism by just sprinting.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
There might be some of that going on here.
There definitely can be some of that with a lot of fight. And somebody in Morono's position, if you're going to fight really hard tooth and nail with with a better athlete, you're probably going to get more tired than they are.
Yeah.
But
I mean, their first fight, he was doing, Morono was doing pretty well, and then he got slept.
Yeah, and this fight, he was doing pretty well, and then he just got tired. So, could be. It's just I also felt like Price had lost more than enough ground as any kind of top athlete that shouldn't have really happened here. But
well, yeah, sure, under the USADA banner.
Yeah.
This was Nico Price's first win since Cowboy Oliveira in 2021.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it has not been really. It's been a while since Price has had a fight where he looked good.
Yeah, he's a weird one. He's always been that way. He's always had like weird fights. Either he's finishing someone in a weird way or getting finished in a weird way. He's just one of those guys.
Yeah. All right. I got nothing to book off that, honestly. Nico Price is he's a weird dude. He's going to get whatever fights the UFC throws his way. I'm surprised he was in the UFC still to take this fight, honestly. So,
yeah, no shit.
All right. That brings us to a welterweight bout. Randy Brown, Oleksiejczuk Zaleski. Pretty decent fight, all things concerned.
It honestly went exactly how I thought it would, with the exception of the third and second rounds being swapped.
Yeah.
Zaleski had a really great second round, and I thought that was going to be his third round as Brown started to slow down, but it turned out to be the second. I liked the spread on this fight, and it panned out. So, kind of what I expected. I love when that happens.
Yeah, I was right there with you. I figured if Randy Brown didn't finish Zaleski early in the fight, then he would probably pay for it late, because Zaleski's a fighter who always makes a big late charge in fights. And instead it was a second round charge, and Brown survived it and came back and just picked up a good solid win. Scrappy fight for Brown. Looked all right doing it. If I thought that I knew that Kevin Holland was going to be fighting at 170, I might suggest they do Brown Holland. Otherwise, you said he called out Jeff Neal.
Yeah,
that's a good fight. You could also do, the other thing that you can do, as everyone has to if they're going to fight at welterweight,
Gilbert Burns.
Randy Brown, Neil Magny. Everybody has to fight Neil Magny. Sure. Those are the rules. I don't make the rules.
Understood. Yeah, sure. I never get excited for Neil Magny.
No.
And that would probably be a dud.
It probably would. I don't even.
It's a rite of passage, though.
Don't do that, UFC, but it is a rite of passage.
That's an opening prelim.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to a middleweight bout. Roman Kopylov, Cesar Almeida.
What a dud. Man, this looked like it was going to be a banger in that first round.
I thought it was going to be fight of the night, really.
This is a bad mixture of Kopylov gassing horrifically and Almeida not being able to stop a basic double leg to save his life, and has zero get up.
Mm-hmm.
Zero. I didn't see a single get up from him, I don't believe. There might have been one early in the first.
I think there was one early, but
in the second. But
yeah, I mean, it is really. And you know what? Rogan was in a less annoying place tonight, I'll say. He still was on his memes. He was still on his it's deep, it's close every time it wasn't, whatever. But he did have a great point in this Kopylov-Almeida fight, which is that Kopylov was out there, realized he had to wrestle. Realized he would have to wrestle Almeida if he was going to win, because Almeida does hit like a truck and was finding him with a lot of kicks and was clipping him with some big punches. And he is not a natural wrestler. That is not his A game. And him going for those takedowns, him working some top control, it just clearly gassed him.
I thought it was the body kicks.
It might be the body kicks too.
His body was getting lit the fuck up.
Either way. And here I gotta address this briefly because now they've called me up by name and they won't stop saying the thing. Would any of the challengers win if they ate an organic diet during fight camp? No. Absolutely not. That is not how any of this works. Thank you very much for playing.
What's organic?
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, it is a food marketing buzzword more than anything. So
yeah,
most fighters tend to keep a fairly clean, fairly tight diet, and the margins of MMA are not so much that they are tilted on the axis of diet. It is not a usually.
By the time they get to the UFC, that's dialed in.
Yeah, usually it's your Derek Lewis's or maybe out there being the dude who's like, oh, I'm drinking beers during fight camp and still fighting and stuff like that. But he's still won a lot too. Like,
look at Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. It's as long as the guy is really training hard and working hard, usually the diet part is fairly well managed, or usually it's a bigger deal with their weight cut than anything else. That's where the science of the diet really comes into play.
Oftentimes it's subbed out.
Yeah, because if you're making your weight cut well, usually that means you've got a diet that's in control. And at this point, most fighters tend to be, unless you're Andre Lima down on the prelims, most fighters in the UFC make enough money to eat well enough to make weight. All right. That brings us to Roman Kopylov. So coming off that win over Cesar Almeida, it was kind of it was a fight he had to win. So good on Kopylov, at least for that.
I picked him to win.
Yeah.
I expect him to win, just being more seasoned and having wrestling.
And being a fighter, he should be a top or nearly top 15 middleweight Kopylov. He's right there on that cusp.
He looked so good to start this fight. He looked amazing. He was punching hard down the middle, just catching Cesar, just staring at him. Well, it was really Cesar thought he was going to just eat punches and then return harder counters, and that wasn't the case.
No. So he had to win this fight one way or another. If he was going to have any kind of run towards the top 15, he had to win this fight. I would love to see, speaking of people who could fight Michel Pereira, I would love to see Roman Kopylov, Michel Pereira.
He could fight Holland too.
Sure, yeah. I'd watch it. This was not a great fight from him, but I expect other fights will feel a little less dire in the future. This was just, I think he quickly got in and realized that even with the success he had, he needed to not kickbox Almeida, and that just made everything ugly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. That brings us to a heavyweight bout. Jailton Almeida, Alexander Romanov.
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm so happy this did not go the way I thought it would, because I thought it would basically just be Almeida out-wrestling Romanov to the point that Romanov got really tired.
Like the Derek Lewis fight.
Yeah.
But 3 rounds of it.
Yeah. So I am really happy that Romanov just immediately had no submission defense whatsoever, and that was all there was to it.
Yeah, this was a blessing. Less than half a round. Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Insta takedown, insta back take, face crank, rear naked choke.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Did he get a bonus?
Let's
Had
see.
to have. There's only 3 finishes.
We got fight of the night was Makhachev and Poirier. Performance of the night was Makhachev and Holland.
Damn, that's funny. Dana's still pissed about that fucking Derek Lewis main event.
Yep.
He's still pissed.
Wow. So, I guess they're probably gonna, if they're still pissed at Jailton, he called out Cyril Gahn, which
Awesome
fair
call
play.
out. Awesome call out.
Yep. If he can get that fight, take it. That makes sense. Totally reasonable. Otherwise, if the UFC is still pissed at him, then he'll probably end up fighting Marcin Tybura.
He's a weird one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you do with him.
I mean, if they're still ticked at him, they're just going to make him tread water in the middle of that division. Fight Tybura, fight Spivak, fight, Rosenstruik, fight De Lima, fight Volkov.
Where's Pavlovich been?
He is currently set to fight Alexander Volkov.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
we know how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they do the Gon fight, but if they don't do the Gon fight, then they'll just plug him in with some other very boring matchup. All right, that brings us to a lightweight bout. Grant Dawson, Joe Selecki, and I knew this is the way this fight was going to go, but
first round was a little surprising.
Yeah.
Just because of that, the Kenny Florian elbow.
Mm-hmm. True. I did give Selecki the first round.
Same here. Hell
yeah. I want to see that.
All the damage. He was going for submissions. Even the guillotines weren't close, but they were kind of close.
Yeah. I want to see the damage. I want to see the submissions. I want to see that stuff rewarded when the other guy's just holding them down. Like,
full confession, though, once Dawson got the takedown in the third, I went and took a shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even need to watch this third round.
No. Somebody was out there trying to be in my Twitter, as Dawson's like, okay, it's no fun, but Dawson wins, whatever. And somebody's like, oh, when Khabib does it, it's great, but when Dawson does it, it sucks. It's like, the hell are you talking about? Khabib threw more significant strikes per minute in his career than Anderson Silva. Grant Dawson, he works at like half Khabib's rate. These are not the same styles. They are not.
I don't even like the Anderson Silva comparison with Khabib.
No, I'm just saying that, like, you got to realize that, guys like Khabib, he is a ground and pound top control artist from a new era, a high work rate, constant, throws a ton era. Throws more than GSP, throws more than Anderson Silva, throws more than BJ Penn.
I'm just saying those stats are skewed because he's only had so many fights and like who he fought. It's much easier.
It's not why, but that is not at all. You think Anderson Silva threw less strikes per round against Damian Maia because it's a different class of opponent? He was out there styling and wiggling around. It was a different era of MMA.
It's a little bit apples and oranges.
It's a higher work rate these days. Everybody fights at a higher work rate. You know who doesn't? Grant fucking Dawson.
Grant Dawson doesn't. I'm not defending Grant Dawson.
Dawson.
I bailed on the third to go drop a deuce.
Yeah, he is an old school style top control blanket. Khabib was never that kind of blanket.
Never.
Khabib,
ever.
If he was on top of you, he was turning you into a jam.
He mauled people.
Yeah.
Khabib mauled people. Dawson doesn't maul you.
No. Dawson
attaches himself to you.
Yeah. He's a limpet. But we have another question here. Why do you guys think Romanov came in so heavy? I'm just gonna say depression.
Damn.
Honestly. I don't know.
I don't think he takes this seriously at all.
He came in
shape one time.
He came in shape one time, and he got
Tybura maybe
beat by Tybura. And I think honestly, like after that, it looked like when he came in against Volkov, it looked like a guy who didn't train and who was on a bender and who'd just been like.
He looked like someone grabbed somebody out the crowd and was like, "You."
Yeah, like I just think his heart hasn't been in it since that loss, and he's not trying that hard. he's
Could be
not
the people
that
around him.
invested. Yeah.
Like, where is he training?
He
Did
had
train?
he had spent a minute over in one of the bigger American gyms like ATT or something like that, but now he's at Lion Club in Moldova.
Yeah.
So
how much of a real camp is that? You know?
Yeah, I think he's controlling and setting his own tone for his own camps, and just being handheld and just not wanting to put that much into it. Like I said, I think man might just be going through some things personally, Anyway, and thank you for Alan thinking positively. We appreciate that.
Way to be, Alan.
All right. Let's talk. Well, let's see. Is there a lightweight fight? I don't want to see. See, that's the thing now. Is it being that kind of dude? I don't want to see Grant Dawson in fights. I don't care.
No.
You know what? Match him up with Benoit Saint-Denis. I think that'd go well.
Isn't he booked?
No.
You sure?
He just lost to Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier just fought. Isn't he booked?
Benoit Saint-Denis? No, he's not.
No.
Anyway. All right. That brings us to a welterweight bout. Jake Matthews, Phil Rowe. Not a bad fight, but a really boneheaded fight from Phil Rowe.
I watched it muted because the Wilder fight was on during this, I believe.
Yeah. He could have had this in the bag. He has all the range on Matthews, has all the size, had the power, and he just started trying to wrestle Jake Matthews and got reversed, got taken down, got his back taken, all that stuff, and just there was one point in the third round where he tried to take Matthews back in a scramble and slid off the top, and Matthews got to control him for the rest of the third round. It's just like all you had to do was just hold the position, stay on top of this guy.
Phil Rowe, FIQ low.
Hate to say it. Wasn't a bad fight, but it felt like a foolish fight.
What's his MO out there? What is Phil Rowe good at?
He's a swinging clean guy who should be a long range fighter. He's 6'3" with an 80-inch reach at welterweight.
Yeah, what I kept seeing was him punching himself into the pocket just to eat a bunch of counters.
He freezes for one beat every time he steps into the pocket. Yeah. He'll land something and then he'll wait a minute and watch his work and try to figure out what to do next. And Matthews just started punching him. You can't have that hitch. So, all right. That brings us to a welterweight bout. Basel Hafez, Mickey Gall. Were it not for the awesome main event, this would have been fight of the night. This was a great fight. Awesome war, back and forth, all the way through.
Who would have guessed it?
Yeah, no, Mickey Gall coming out and
with some hands.
Both these guys are all defense, or all offense, no defense. But usually when that's Mickey Gall's thing, he's getting shellacked. And credit to him, he took the shots and he just showed a ton of grit. Just kept coming back and trying to rally on Hafez.
Man, he really committed to his punches. His 1-2s. He was really doing a fantastic job of catching Basel coming in. Mm-hmm. And Basil's such a hawk. He's it's not his defense isn't, it's not a shoulder roll, it's not a slip, it's just he kind of just starts turning away. And he'll just eat the punches and then just be come forward. Resets and come forward. It's not sustainable.
No.
Before you ask.
Neither of these guys have a style that is made to win at high levels of MMA, but when you put them both together in a fight, you get a brawl. You get two guys who don't know how to defend just throwing heat at each other.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic fight. It shocked the fuck out of me. Gall showed up. And
I would have liked it. I realized that the main event technically, like, it really had all the wow factor. But I would have loved it if these guys had won fight of the night. They should each get a bonus out of this because, they're way down on the bottom of the card. They need that money. Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier, what's $50,000 extra to them? They've got the money.
Well, it doesn't have to be a duality here. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
No, it's true. We could have
both.
multiple fights of the night.
Like, what's wrong with that? Fights of the night.
Yeah.
Or
all right.
Call them performance bonuses.
Exactly. For that women's bantamweight bout, Eileen Perez, Jocelyn Edwards, and this was just a complete mess. Neither women know how to control any part of a grappling game, and all they wanted to do was grapple.
Perez did hit that spinning back fist.
She spit out her mouthpiece mid-spin. Did you see that?
I missed that. Damn it. I got to go back.
In the middle of spinning, her mouthpiece just comes flying out for no reason. Just totally sloppy and wild. But hey, they squashed the beef.
They buried the hatchet, though.
Yeah.
There was some legitimate beef going into this.
Yeah, I think Eileen Perez's coach tried to...
Didn't try to. She strangled Edwards unconscious at the PI, from what I hear, allegedly.
Yeah. They think they were really trying to bait Edwards into a fight in so they could get this booking.
Well, fuck. I guess they did it.
Yeah.
They seemed to be fine afterwards.
Yeah. Who knows? Perez tried to get her to twerk with her after the
She didn't even want to do the get on your knees in the center and have a moment.
No.
She was so reluctant, and then came around to it. Definitely a weird fight.
Weird fight, weird vibe, whatever. All right, and that brings us to the opening bout: Andre Lima, Mitch Raposo, and two flyweights fighting at a not a flyweight pace.
Raposo was a flyweight.
Yeah, true.
Lima missed weight by 5 fucking pounds.
Lima did miss weight by 5 pounds.
He was a light bantamweight coming in here.
This was also each man lands 10 strikes per round kind of fight, and you're just deciding which ones you think are better.
I don't know, man. I thought it was pretty fucking clear. I can't believe it was a split decision.
I thought Lima won it, but it was just
handily. He handily won it.
It was very slow and tedious for a flyweight bout, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, 100%. They didn't look like flyweights.
No,
and I think Lima was so composed out there and just kept the entire fight in front of him. And I mean, that was good work. He kept it right in front of him. Fought at his pace, and those leg kicks were just so damaging. It's hard to ignore that.
Yeah, I mean, Raposo clearly did not really come out. He came out and tried to have a middle distance kickboxing bout with a better kicker, and that's just a terrible idea.
And he thought he was going to gas out Lima doing that.
Yeah,
the crazy part.
You need to clinch up with this guy. He does not defend takedowns well. Even if you don't want to shoot on him, you still need to have that mess of the clinch where you can potentially trip him or throw him over something or start making him really have to work and grind. Being out there from a distance and just being like, okay, well, you throw, I'll throw, you throw, I'll throw. You're just gonna get kicked to death.
And I know Lima missed weight here, but if you're a flyweight and your game plan is to make the other guy tired in a 3-round fight, good fucking luck.
Yeah, no kidding. That also doesn't make sense.
What? What flyweights are getting tired in 3 rounds?
Yeah, it was just not a well-prepared fight for Raposo. And a fight that I thought he really honestly could have won if he'd just gone out there and really gone after Lima.
Or pulled the trigger, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
But he didn't. And,
him and Costa have a lot to talk about. They have some shit in common.
No kidding. All right. On that note, we're going to have a little bonus content for our Substack subscribers. Once again, the subscribe button, the subscribe link, it's right there in the in the description for the video. So if you want to help support us, if you want to listen to our bonus show that we'll be dropping over on our Substack later tonight, early tomorrow, then hit that. And otherwise, thanks everyone for tuning in. You can see me on Twitter at the Zane Simon. You can see Eddie on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. You can find me over on Substack, not just at the Vivisection and 6th Round Substack, but also at zanesimon.substack.com.
And you can find me sailing the high seas.
And you can find Eddie sailing the high seas.
Living my retired life.
That's right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next time.